There's one of the styles of literature that you find in the Bible, in Scripture, is a style called apocalypse. And it's the style of literature that is all about the unveiling of things that have been hidden. And basically it often speaks of quite terrible events and major upheaval, and suddenly something becoming apparent which we've kind of all known might be there, although the details have always been hidden, and suddenly it's unveiled. It's the apocalypse. It's here. It's upon us. It's all pretty messy. One of the things about apocalypse, of course, is that because it is the unveiling, inherent in it is the notion that we're not that comfortable with too much revelation. The problem with things being unveiled is that oftentimes we get exposed as well, and we discover things about ourselves that in honesty we've probably always known, but we've tried to keep that knowledge away from ourselves, and to have it exposed and open is one of the things that we'd rather not have happen, and we're kind of laid bare. It's a deep instinct in the human psyche to cover up. You can see that in the early story of Adam and Eve, where apparently they weren't supposed to eat a certain fruit, and they did. And when God comes to visit them in the Garden of Eden, their instinct is to cover up, because suddenly they were aware that too much of them could be seen. One of the upsides of apocalypse, of course, is we get to see things more clearly. Things are laid bare and out in the open, and while that can sometimes be a very confronting and uncomfortable process, it can also help clarify what's really going on. Instead of dealing in half-truths and innuendos and suggestions, we start to see things as they really are. In a funny kind of way, exam time is a time of apocalypse, because you get to see how much you've learned. Hey, it's one thing to go to classes and to participate in the coursework, but when you sit an exam or have to do an assignment, that's when we really find out, right? The thing about that is, don't be put off. And whilst it is a trial and a confrontation, and it can be challenging and uncomfortable, that's not what determines the future. The thing that determines the future is what you want to make it, what you want to do with what you learn. When things are revealed, how do you respond? So if this exam season reveals that perhaps you didn't work as hard as you could, or maybe it reveals that you are in fact a genius and should be running the world, probably won't say that, but whatever it reveals, you've got a choice, and you can always choose to use what you've been entrusted with in terms of your capacities and your opportunities. You can use those things to bring a blessing into the world, to bring good into the group of people who you get to mix with, and if you're very capable, maybe an even larger group than that. That's where the life is. Whilst apocalypse can expose some things that maybe we would rather stayed hidden, once they are exposed, we should not be put off, but make decisions about how we're going to use what we've now learned to bless the world. So I encourage you, as you're going through your exams, don't think about that, just think about your exams. But whatever the outcome, you've got choices. You can still do good things, and pray that you will. Really happy to talk with you at any time. My details are available from Mary at the front desk, and happy to catch up for coffee or a drink of some kind. God bless, do well, see you around the college.